Hey, you there. Welcome back to Risk v Reward. You're with your boy Big Hat Stocks, and today has been a good, crazy day in the market. But we're going to continue to talk about this HKD trade, and we're going to be talking about sympathy plays based off of that. And we're going to be using sympathy plays as kind of like a guide to keep you from FOMOing in and also maximize your opportunity as a trader. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so just to give you an overview, what is a sympathy play? A sympathy play is basically stocks in the same sector or a stock that basically runs because another stock is running or falls because another stock is falling, okay? When you're talking about this HKD trade, we're going to jump right into the chart. We're going to show you some examples of very clean sympathy plays. I have some energy sector stocks for you here, and then we're going to break down HKD and its sympathy plays. All right, let's jump right back into the chart here. All right, so I'm in my chart right now. What you're seeing right here is going to be Devon Energy Corporation, and you're going to actually be seeing Occidental. Occidental is actually one of my favorite stocks to trade, but we're going to be talking about the trade ideas. Both of these have a 15-minute chart on it right now. Okay, so what happens is I'm going to show you my cursor. If you can see this little the toggle here, they're obviously at different prices, but just pay attention to this vertical line here on the screen, okay? And this is going to show you kind of the same type of movement at the same type of time. So right now we're in yesterday's movement. As you can see, when Devon goes up, Occidental goes up. When Occidental goes down, Devon goes down. You kind of get into this like consolidation range. Nothing really going on. You got a consolidation right here. And then when it goes up, Oxy goes up, Devon goes up. Same thing, exactly the same thing happened in the pre-market this morning, and then you have a little fall off in the pre-market, and then you have a sell-off on both stocks. So these stocks are basically following each other to the exact T almost. The price action is a little bit different because they are going to be different stocks, but basically what you're getting is essentially the same thing, right? So what's interesting that I find, and reason I'm bringing you up on sympathy plays right here, is because you had a leaked earnings report, okay? So you have this leaked earnings report here. This thing shoots up, and Occidental shoots up right along with it. So this is the same time. So you see Occidental looking real bearish right here as well. Then it shoots up, right? This had no reason to shoot up, okay? But Devon did have a leaked earnings report, and guess what? Boom, it goes up to the upside. So that's how sympathy plays work. And I don't want to go too much farther in depth. That's what you want to see. They basically trade the same way. So when we jump over to HKD, this is HKD. This thing is insane. Only thing I can say is I love to see it, and if you guys are long somewhere down here in the double digit numbers, man, shout out to y'all. I would probably just hold this thing until it really starts to come off, to be honest, if you have it. Today it traded in, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the 15-minute chart just to make it a little bit more simpler for you guys. But today this thing was just stuck in the range between basically 350 and 490, and it just played in between these ranges, right? The volume was not there. If you go to, let's say, a 1-minute chart, you look at this thing had zero volume on it today. It actually did no volume. It was just really just going flat and going sideways. And the reason I think because of that is because you had more sympathy plays, okay? And so right now this thing, it touched all the way to $1,000, and the spread was somewhere like $100 or something. But if you jump over to these sympathy these plays, you can see this is actually, if you look at the name, right, they actually have a stake in HKD, and this is a company that's easier to trade, right? So this is a 15-minute chart. If you're looking at this chart, and this thing is way easier to trade. So if you wanted to basically sympathy trade off of this, if you go back, let's make it smaller. We're up here, right? As you can see, consolidation. This thing didn't actually want to go up, but as soon as as HKD broke out, this thing ran like wildfire, right? So if you wanted a, better, like kind of more safer alternative, and if you really had really bad FOMO and you said, I don't want to miss out on this trade, I don't want to miss out on the HKD, you could have went over here to the AMTD trade, which is basically the same stock essentially, and traded a little bit cheaper. Probably, if you thought this was a consolidation range, got you some shares in here and then roll this thing up. Okay, so this is a good way to play Sympathy. Now, because this stock does have more liquidity, I believe, than HKD does, this will be a safer alternative. Now, the reward is not going to be even close, but it is a safer, more manageable trade for you to take, and it is an alternative to the HKD trade. Now, however, if you look at something like this one, this Liberty TripAdvisor Holdings thing, this thing is also a sympathy play based off of the psychology behind HKD trade, which is basically saying, where can we find another HKD? People are looking for another HKD, hence why the volume on it was so low, because they want to try to find something that was another HKD, and this ran off of Sympathy. This is not something that you want to play around with, okay? So let me tell you why. Simple beans, simple does. This thing absolutely has zero liquidity. This thing has about 160,000 shares total in the market, and if you got in anywhere in this range, you probably wasn't getting out for profit. It's just too illiquid. This thing halted about more than 15 times today. This thing halted. So let's go to the 15-minute chart. You can see the halts. Halt 1, halt 2, halt 3, halt 4, halt 5, halt 5, halt 6, halt 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. More than 15 halts. This is a heart attack. So let's just say you got in here and you got halted up. Okay, cool, right? And you like, man, I'm in a profit. I'm in the money. So I got in here at 72. I'm in the money. I'm already $10 per share in the money, right? Let's just say it opens up, immediately halts down. Like you can't even. Where's your stop, right? Okay, what if you didn't have your stop? What if your stop was, break even, right? So you have a break even stop. Okay. This thing opens up at 58.31. I'm sorry. This thing opens up at 49.45. Even if you had a stop in, you couldn't get filled because it just basically skipped your price. You would not be able to stop out of this. It's impossible, right? There's just not enough liquidity for you to stop out. So now you're opening up down here, you're wicking all the way at the bottom, and you're saying, man, I am crushed. You're stopping out, and guess what this thing does? It halts, it opens up, and then it halts again to the downside. So now what do, right? What do you get out? You can't. It's no liquidity. So when you have stocks like this that don't have a lot of liquidity, steer away from them, even though they may be sympathy plays and they may be fantastic runners, right? This thing ran from $20 all the way up to $80. That was a fantastic run. Could you have gotten out, though, is the question. That is the hard concern. And if you had any type of decent amount of shares, you were not getting out. You were crossing over and getting out. You were not able to get out where you wanted to get out, and that's the problem. You want to be able to get out where you want to get out, right? So you can hop back to this one, this QRTB, right? QRTB. This was also a sympathy play. This thing was actually a lot more liquid, but you still had the same kind of construct. Now this thing, it ran like a tear. These things are hot right now because people are trying to find the next HKD. Now, if you got in down here, great, good job, right? Will I play with this? It's more manageable, depending on how the spread is going to be. Right now, the spread is about 10 cent, less than 10 cent, something like that. This is a manageable trade, right? So could you win a lot of money on this? Yeah, it's possible, depending on what you want to do. Let's see the history, right? This thing has history on it, right? But look at this lack of volume that's going on. So there's some key levels. If you wanted to play off of some key levels somewhere down here, that's probably what a breakout happened. I'm not even looking at it, right? So let's go what that is, 1724. You know, once it got above 17, look at that consolidation. How did I know? Consolidation and a breakout right over that level, and it holds 17 and it went. Okay, so just be careful with these things. All right, that's all I have for you today. I'm not going to keep talking and make this a long drawn out thing. But with that being said, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please drop them in the comment section below. Hit that like and subscribe button. That's really going to help me out and be dropping daily content for y'all. I will see you guys in the next one.